All right, rock and roll. Welcome one, welcome all. Friend and foe, sinner and saint. You are at the Scorched Earth Political Podcast for Saturday, April 12th. Kind of really juiced up. I'm really happy. I get to go see my man Bernie in AOC today. I am excited, past excited. I've seen Bernie multiple times on his runs for presidency in 16 and 20, and always a captivating guy. It's crazy that the progressive in the Democratic Party is an 81-year-old white guy. You think we'd have some young ideas. AOC definitely represents the younger wing, but, Bernie still is the captain of the ship, and I will always be indebted to Bernie for taking the stink off socialism. Kind of like Barry Goldwater when he ran in 64 against Johnson. He was the arch conservative. He was linked to the John Birch Society, which back then was it was a very, very conservative, right-leaning, which it still is, but it was more associated with maybe supremacist type of views back in the 60s. And as we were coming into a new era of civil rights, it was kind of polarizing, to say the least. And Bernie, growing up, everybody wanted to say, socialist this and socialist that. And there's a lot of people who still do, don't get me wrong. But Bernie, to me, is the most effective political leader of our time next to Barack Obama. And I think he's taken a lot of slings and arrows in the name of socialism. It's funny. Everybody hates socialism until it comes time for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, unemployment, FDIC, the FDA, the EPA, things that keep us safe. Then socialism's cool. Right? That government's good. It's the government you don't want, I got to get rid of. Okay? But, it's what it is, right? So, I saw a really great little movie today. I don't really do movie reviews here. I do them in shorts. And everybody's got their thing. For some reason, I've seen a couple musicals in a row that really captivated me. I never was the musical guy. I remember going to see La La Land with my parents and my girl, and I literally walked out 5 minutes in. Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, no, I can't do this, right? I went off to some other movie, whatever. But I've seen a couple really, really great movies. Wicked and Snow White. Just the singing is fantastic. God, I don't know if I have to turn in my man card on this one, but it is just exquisite. And I will say the only reason I reviewed it was because one of our great listeners, Crystal, asked me to. And I said, you know what? This girl has put up with my stupid voice and my stupid verbiage all this time. It's the least I could do. And I was just captivated, right? Oh, I really got to turn in my man card. We're going to be ripping that up real quick. And I took my parents again this week, and my mom just loved it. She said, wow. And I told her the story. I said, there's this great supportive listener, and she asked, are you going to go see it? So I went to go see it, and my mom's like, oh, that girl knows what she's talking about. I go, yeah. I said, I didn't tell her she's smarter than me. Like most of my listeners are. Let me tell you something. Super producer Stacy, here. Me, here. Crystal, here. Me, here. Yeah, okay? That's why they're not on the podcast, because then you would see how incompetent and irrelevant I really am. But what you don't know can't hurt me. Well, maybe. But, so to get back to it, I saw a movie today, and it was called The Amateur. I've been waiting for it. Now, I do like action movies, and I did a movie review, and I hope and I pray I see a better movie than that this year. It was spectacular. And when you have spy movies, guy movies, adventure movies, the GOAT is probably the James Bond, right? You got this guy, incredibly good looking. All the women love him. Heck, in Goldfinger, he turned a lesbian into some man-craving human being, right? Like, there's James Bond and me. I have turned more women lesbian than Sex in the City, right? I'm telling you straight out. So, James Bond, he was just debonair, just shoot him in the face, shoot him from 100 yards, whatever, get him. And the guy wasn't really emotionally available, okay? His idea of being emotionally available is when he got into a shootout and the lady who was next to him somehow got blood on the dress. He would look at her and go, yeah, blood on your dress. And then he'd walk off. And then she'd pine for him. Oh, James, I don't know if shout's going to get it out. Oh, that kind of thing. And then, we had hundreds of these spy thrillers, 3 Days of the Condor, really good stuff, whatever. But they never really got into an emotional aspect of what the spy is dealing with, right? And we got to the Bourne series, which I considered the next evolution. And Jason Bourne is a gentleman who has amnesia. He's a special op guy. He's a super agent. And actually his own agency is trying to get rid of him because of what he knows, what he might divulge. And the amazing thing is he's trying to find himself. He's emotionally trying to get there. And he is finding his way through the 4 films, right? And I don't know if he ever really gets there, but he's trying to, right? He's trying to understand how he became this guy that he's rediscovering, right? And he's fighting his own people. His own people are trying to kill him. And the real appeal is it's one guy against the whole government. And somehow he's always one step ahead of them. All right, cool. Then we get to this movie. And Rami Malek plays Charlie. He is a CIA operative who is a computer nerd on a computer nerd. He is in a basement at Langley. He is developing the software for counterintelligence, for surveillance, for everything. He's like this smart computer dude, right? Some people say I am. And then they talk to super producer Stacy and they both giggle. Hey, I know how to turn on the iPhone now, okay? Okay? Hey, I can see your disdain and I can see your laughter, okay? Well, I guess I would hear your laughter. So, his wife gets killed by some terrorist, okay? And obviously he's crestfallen. Rami Malek was fantastic. He came on the scene. The star turn was in Bohemian Rhapsody. And then he made more bad choices on film roles than somebody does at a bar 20 minutes before closing, right? But he found his niche here. So now he's this guy, his wife, his life is taken from him by these terrorists. And we already know where this is going, or so we think. And he gets there and he goes, he has some leverage on his boss. And because his boss has done some shenanigans. Wow, hard to believe the CIA would do some illegal black ops stuff. Ho, 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 ho. Can you say Ed Snowden? So he goes to his boss and says, here's what I want. I got this stuff on you. I want mission-specific training. I want a new name. I want money. I want an identity. I want to be able to go after the people who killed my wife. And they giggle and laugh and go, let us handle it. Don't worry about it. We got this. We got you, bro. We got you. He ain't digging that. So he kind of finagles away. I'm not going to give away the whole plot. But he goes on. He meets somebody. They sort of train him. He gets what he wants. They get what they want. And he goes after the killers. Okay, we've seen this a million times. There's nothing special going on. And then we see in his training, he really can't pull the trigger and shoot somebody. He can't. He doesn't have it in him. It's not who it is, right? We are who we are, right? I mean, it's like Kaiser Sose says, or Verbal Kent, excuse me. How do you look the devil in the eye and shoot him? What if you miss? That kind of thing. So he goes after him. And what he does is he reinvents the genre. I'm not going to go kill them the way everybody else does. I'm going to use my tech nerd bro skill set to find ingenious ways to kill them, right? So he goes after the first person, and he has her trapped in an inescapable way. She's going to perish, and he lets her go because he can't look her in the eye. He can't look her in the eye and let her die. It's just not who he is. So she gets away. Tragedy befalls her accidentally, whatever it is, right? So now he's got to go after the other couple people. And it was amazing that they showed his vulnerability of like, hey, I'm always aghast when they show this average guy. He gets a paper cut. He's such a wuss. He has to go to urgent care. And then 6 weeks later, after a little training, this guy's a Navy SEAL on a black op on a Green Beret. And this guy can kill somebody like 100 feet away, 500 feet away, 1,000 yards. Yeah, okay. He's shooter squared, right? And it's just, happenstance and just BS, right? I mean, it is what it is, right? You don't all of a sudden become a killer that quick, right? It's something you have to grow into, I guess. But so then we see him, he realizes I can't really look at somebody and kill him. So I have to set up a trap and then be walking away from the trap as they die so I don't see it. And the end is just spectacular. He finds the bad guy and the bad guy lays it down, and it's, God, man, I really got to tear up my man card after this. It was amazing to see him emotionally vulnerable, and that was literally the key tie on why he couldn't become that evil person. He accomplished what he wanted. The end is spectacular. I'd recommend it to anybody, and God, I went way too long. All right. So I sound like Dave Portnoy. I guess maybe I just got to give you a pizza review too. Hey, pineapple doesn't belong on a pizza. Hey, you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. All right. We're taking no prisoners, telling no lies here on this Saturday, April 12th. And I don't even know where we start with this story. The Supreme Court ruled that the Trump administration needs to return Kilmer Garcia. He is the gentleman from Maryland that the Trump administration admitted was an administrative error, and somehow they got him on a plane, and he is now in a terrible jail, mega prison in San Salvador. And the Supreme Court said that they have to return him, but they didn't give a deadline. All right, and we know one thing about the Trump administration. They are going to use every legal delay that they can, right? So Friday, after the ruling came down, we had a tense hearing in U.S. District Court. Paul is in this. And the Justice Department Attorney Drew Ensign repeatedly stonewalled the judge. Great. Love democracy. As she sought to nail down details about what the administration is doing to return Kilmer. Now, we've already talked about Kristi Noem was doing her cosplay photo shoot down there in the prison a week and a half after the poor gentleman was down there, got his head shaved. Do you know that in that photo shoot, that man's wife identified him in a cell behind her? Wow, and she couldn't bring him back. I can get in there and do a photo shoot, but I can't get that guy out. Okay. So Zinnes said in the hearing on Friday afternoon, I'm not asking for state secrets. I'm just asking a very simple question. Where is he? Now we're getting to this question. Even though we have photographic evidence on the 27th of March, he was behind Kristi Noem. The judge continued and said there's no evidence today as where he is today. That's extremely troubling. And let me tell you something. The DOJ in court filing says they have no idea where he is. Right. Right. They're scooping up people off the streets of America. And they have no idea where this guy is. No way in the whole world. Right. So Zinnes again on Friday ordered the Justice Department to provide daily updates on what the administration is doing to facilitate the return. I'm going to tell you where this goes. They're just going to say we can't find him. I mean, how does that happen? They made the administrative error, and honestly, they're just going to wait it out. I mean, what's going to happen? I mean, think about it. All I have to do is say, hey, I don't know where he is. Wow. I mean, wow. And is there anybody who really believes that? I mean, why don't we put these people under oath? Like Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, people in the administration, and say, do you have any evidence of where he is? Boy, I got a funny feeling they'd figure it out real quick. All right. We're running a little long, but you know what? I love you, so we're going to make this Saturday party the best we can. God bless. So I got a couple little things in the news, and in the Your Voice Still Does Matter, the United States Social Security Administration abandoned plans to end phone service for retirees that was to start this Monday. Wow. Following a huge outcry from citizens and advocates who warned that the changes would cause further chaos and further strain the agency. I didn't even know it was on I'm looking at so much other insanity, I don't even remember. The agency, which pays out over $1.4 trillion in benefits to 73 million Americans, said on Wednesday it would allow all claim types to be completed over the phone from April 14th, the date the phone option was due to be cut. Your voice does matter. And I know sometimes it's easy to get discouraged, disheartened, disenchanted. But it matters. You know, like the rallies I went to on last Saturday and like the one I'm going to today. They matter. They do hear you. And it's kind of like I am the only guy in the world saying this. If you don't think it matters, if you remember the first Trump administration, they literally went months without White House briefings. They have them every day now. They're trying to control the news. Excuse me. They're trying to control the narrative. And it's smart. It's incredibly intelligent what they're doing. But at the end of the day, it tells you they're receptive to what's going on. All right. And in another thank you, Republicans. I'm glad you have the majority in all forms of government. The House voted this week to overturn a rule that would have limited bank overdraft fees to $5, following the Senate in moving to dismantle the regulation that the Biden administration had estimated would save consumers billions of dollars annually. God forbid we want to limit the overdraft fees. Yeah, wow. It went on a party line vote in the House, 217 to 211. Now heads to the White House, where President Trump is most assuredly going to sign it. Republicans have argued that it's a disastrous regulation issued in the final days of President Joe Biden. And I will say this, something like this, why did you have to wait to the end, Joe? I mean, why wasn't this out there in the campaign? How is this not population friendly, citizen friendly? Like, who's going to use that as campaign weaponry against you? Biden's edict would have forced banks to stop offering overdraft protection altogether and made it harder for Americans to access credit. That's boy, that didn't come out well, John. That's what the Republicans' plan is doing. Competition. Now listen to this. Listen to this, winner. Competition and innovation, not government-mandated price caps, remain the best way to ensure consumers have access to affordable financial products and services. This is some effing idiot Republican, Representative French Hill from Arkansas. Okay? I got 2 words. Drug prices. Isn't that the same thing they've been telling us for the last 40 years? Oh, we don't need price caps. It's the free market. Yeah, right. When there's only 5 banks in America? Yeah, great. Currently, the nation's biggest banks take in over $8 billion a year in overdraft fees. $8 billion. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Right now, as of now, when Trump signs this, there will be no cap on overdraft fees. Right? Banks and banking groups had sued the Biden administration over the rule, arguing that it would have led to, wait for this, I'd like to know who this PR person who puts out this crap, would have led to consumers leading on worse, less regulated services. Yeah, right. I'm telling you, too big to fail, 2008. I love Obama, but I wish he would have smashed the big banks with the hammer like he had the chance, but easier said than done, right? The rule that Biden signed was to go in effect in October. Now it's been scrapped. It would have saved consumers anywhere between $5 and $8 billion a year, $225 per household in typical overdraft fees. Biden, we miss you every day, buddy. Called the fees exploitative and hit the people who are most cash-strapped. Your vote matters. The people you vote affect your life every day. And that wasn't just a vote for Kamala. It was a vote for us, and unfortunately, we didn't win that election. We'll see you in 4 years, All right. Thank you for listening. Don't be sad because it's coming to an end. Be thankful because we're in this together. I love you all. I need you. I'll be thinking about you when I'm at the Bernie rally today. And fight on, young soldiers, fight on. All right. I'll see you soon.